Hey guys, how's it going? And today we're going to be attempting to learn how to calculate the moving average. My first thought is I want to kind of update the algorithm to, instead of only calculating the last exact, only one 50-day value for the last 50 days, why not compute the last 10 so we have almost like a line graph seeing what's kind of going on? Or no, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm basically just going to be trying to figure out what the best course of action will be to when to buy and when to sell. So let me get cracking into that. I've managed to now, after some long and grueling changing things, as soon as we run the program, it immediately gets the last 4 days. So we get the most recent moving average, and then obviously the one for the day before, and the day before. So I've picked 4 data values. I think that should be enough to just kind of get started. So now I'll need to be thinking about how to track kind of that crossover point. My initial kind of guess is I assume I'm just going to loop through each one of the moving averages and compare. So I'll highlight it so you can kind of see. Compare the first 50-day moving average to this moving day average, and then check the next one and check the next one here, and just basically check the difference, like trying to check if they've overlapped. So I've managed to ask ChatGPT what he thinks, and it's thinking the same that I was. We iterate through all the historical data and we're comparing each 10-day moving average to the 50-day counterpart. So we're going to be doing what I said, where we compare this one to this one, so the same dates basically. This is where it's giving me some information. It wants us to track previous values, store the previous values data moving average to detect a crossover. So to check if we're going to open up a trade, so to check if we're going to be bullish, so if we're going to be making a buy, we check if the previous 10-day is less than the previous 50-day and the current 10-day is greater than the current 50-day. So let's visualize that. We've got a canvas here. I'm going to quickly write down the dates of two pairs of the data. This is the average for the 10-day on the 13th, 14th, and then the 50-day on the 13th and 14th. So the algorithm we're saying we check, so we'll pretend that we're looking at the 14th now, so we're on this day. So for a bullish crossover, we need the previous 10 days. So the previous one to the 14th is going to be this. So you say 122.65. So this has to be less than the previous 50-day, which is going to be that, which is correct. This is a correct statement. However, and the current 10-day, which is this, has to be greater than the current 50-day. So this is correct because the previous day was less than, but when we look at today's date, is today's date greater than? No. So this would not be bullish. This is a good way to understand. So is the previous days less than the 50 days? So was the average less than? If it was less than, it has the possibility to have gone over and overlapped. If it does overlap, then you know it should be greater than the 50-day. However, in this example, it was not. And if you want to check if we're basically bearish and we want to go down, it's the exact same here, except these signs are flipped like this. So it does make sense. It would be you're checking the previous one, and if that was already greater than, and now it's flipped and is less than, you know that it's a sell and you should short. So this loop here, as you can see, goes through every stock in our kind of the stocks we're watching, and I've just got some print statements here to show that everything's working. We have on the 16th, we have the 10-day and the 50-day. I've managed to implement a print statement that basically shows everything we're going to do. I modified the loop to, instead of starting at the very first element, we start at 1, which is perfect because it means that we can always assume that there will be a -1 to check to, and we're not going to get out of bounds. You can see here that because we have 4 things, it means there's 3 possible, like we can check this one and these two, and these two. So 3 possible combinations. This is checking if we're bullish. Obviously it's not actually checking, but this is a print statement showing what I'm going to check. So for it to be a bullish, we would check the previous 10 day, which is 121, to see if it is less than the previous 50 day, which is true. However, on the current day, it's not flipped it, so it doesn't matter. Perfect. It was a very easy change to show for bearish as well. So with this news, this shows, and what I had to do here, so we basically, well, we're going to crash after this. So I'll know for next time. Perfect. This is perfect, honestly. So we can now know if we should open up a bullish trade if these conditions are met, and same here if there's a bearish trade. I'll need to kind of think of how I'm going to, my first immediate thought problem is, well, a minute, if it's going to go through every single one every time, it's going to, and there is a trade to open, it'll constantly be opening trades. So I'll need to maybe add a check, like on date X, if a trade already opened on this date, don't open another one on this date. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is some pretty good progress because we've now got more data coming in, and we have almost done the checks. So hopefully next time I'll be able to implement this. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.